everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. My name's Karen Bukes, and I thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a while. Our last show, I believe, the one I did was in January, and there was a Three Amigos February 3rd. Right after that, as a lot of you know, Kenny was diagnosed with cancer. He's going for his 4th round of chemo, the 1st of April, and he has a wonderful attitude, and as you know, Ken's a fighter. I take care of him, and it's an honor to do so. Not sure if I'll make town meeting this time. It'll be the first time in 15 years, but I hope to. But I want to thank everyone who has been so kind. Your flowers, your cards, the fruit basket from Dickie Quintal, all of you, your concern has been outstanding. And I thank you. But tonight, Ken felt like doing a show, and the doctors said it was okay. So here we are. And I had a great lineup in December, and all my guests, of course, were put on hold. And the guest that I have tonight was so kind to say yes way back then that he was the first one I asked to come back. And he is very respected. I respect him. And I want you to welcome David Malaguti.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for the kind words, and I hope you realize all our hopes and prayers are with you guys.
I know that. You've been so kind, the select board and everyone. It's overwhelming, you know. Town moderator, the police chief, Gary Maestas, superintendent of schools. They've been just wonderful. But David, you're here, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't ask anybody to be here other than you because I think so much of you, and you're up for re-election, and I'm thrilled about that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I know you would have been here whether you were up for election or not.
Yeah.
So, and you have so much historical value, David. I'm so happy you're on that board. What is it, 22 years?
It's coming to the end of my 22nd year.
Now, there was a period that you left the board, but you're back.
Yep.
And as I said, I'm very thankful. But I'm not sure a lot of people know that. Was it your uncle or your father that built 11 Lincoln?
That was a remodeling, and it was 1949, I believe. And it was Malaguti Brothers, which was my father and his 2 brothers.
Okay.
Yep.
What was it before?
It sat idle for quite a few years. I want to say 15 or 16 years because I believe Alba Thompson was the last graduating, her class was the last graduating class. And I want to say that was like 34 or 35.
Wow.
So 14 years, 15 years, it sat idle. And then finally they decided to remodel it and make it the town hall, and Malaguti Brothers was the successful contractor.
You did an awesome job. Where was the town hall before?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the little 1749 courthouse.
That's right. I'm sorry. I forgot that. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I hope so, because sometimes I wing things, you know.
You are right. It came back to me. You're right. I forgot there for a second. So, I mean, born and brought up, your family goes way back.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have it any other way.
No, I love my town. My dad was born here in 1898. When I was born in 1948, he was 50 years old. Talk about a generation gap. That's a gap.
Yeah.
But he was born here. I don't think he was born in the old homestead. which is up at the top of Liberty Street. I don't think my grandfather had built it yet, but nevertheless, I mean, we've been Plymouth residents for quite a while.
Quite a while. And always North Plymouth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I left North Plymouth in '73. We built a house on Gunners Exchange.
Oh.
So that was the first
Boy,
house.
that was far away for you.
Well, it was. It was. I mean, I can remember having to stop on my way home from work because if you forgot to get milk or something,
Yeah.
man, it was a major ride to get it, you know?
Well, you know, you bring up an interesting point, David, because you've seen a lot of change in the town, as I have, 42 years, but you've seen it all.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we had the First National.
Yeah.
We had Riches. I remember Riches.
Yeah.
Hanover Mall wasn't even built then.
No. We had an A&P in the center of town.
Yes.
It was at the building which later became, well, whatever bank it was. Now I think it's, what is the bank that's down there by the railroad station?
Oh, I know.
God, it's changed hands so many times. It
Not
used to be the
Mayflower.
Plymouth 5, but
Yeah.
I don't know what it is right now.
Yeah.
And the First National was in the center of town where Sovereign Bank is, I think,
Yeah.
it is now.
Right.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of changes. My goodness, Benny's was where the fireplace store is.
Yes.
Just just a little bit further north
And the fire station
was Station 1.
was Station 1,
Yep.
and the restaurant now,
Yep.
the Mexican restaurant. And I remember it as a fire station. We would bring Scott in, and when he was little, and
Yep.
they'd let him sit on the fire engine. That was great.
Yeah.
But David, you know, as I said, I'm very happy you're up for election, and you know a lot. And when it comes to anything to do with the DPW or anything like that, you're right on board. I mean, you went to college for it. Talk to us about the sewer pipe.
This has been a tremendous learning experience for me. I'm approaching my 68th birthday. I started running pieces of heavy equipment when I was 13. I snuck some time on my father's front end loader, and he was furious when he found out. But I've been in construction all my life.
Yep.
And when you see a pipe come out of the ground that's been in the ground 15 years, and it looks like it's been in the harbor in the salt water for 100 years, it is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling.
Yep.
Whole bunch of factors. Poor design. Just a colossal bunch of errors, much of mistakes.
And but you've been helping with that, and I'm happy about that. As I said to Chairman Tavares in an email, I'm very happy about that because you keep an eye on it, and we have our DPW director right there, and
Yep.
tell us the ins and outs of what's going on.
Well, JB is very capable DPW director, and he's really done a good job. As has Gary Frizzell, the wastewater superintendent, his assistant Chad, Sheila, the one that does all the maps and all the survey work that we try to get a hold of. She's fantastic too. The whole bunch of them, when you put them together as a team, they've been great. So really, we've got a good team working on it. We've got some good engineers working on it.
Your engineers are phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with them. I'm very impressed with Environmental Partners. I'm very impressed with Randy Hicks, whatever, from Corrosion Probe.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very impressed with Brito, the contractor.
Oh, okay.
He is a wealth of information.
Where's he out of?
Bristol, Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I read that.
Yeah.
So where are we now with the sewer pipe?
Well, as you know, there have been 3 breaks,
Yeah.
and we've been extremely lucky. To say extremely lucky, it's like going to Foxwoods
Yeah.
and hitting every machine in the row that you're at there. We've had 3 breaks, and all 3 breaks flowed onto land that belonged to the town.
Thank God.
Really, that's monumental.
If it's going to happen, let
Yeah.
it happen that way.
Yeah, the pipes are, as you know, they're fully bypassed. There's been some engineering work done and some estimates put together. What more can I say? Oh, there's cleaning going on. That's pretty well that's pretty well along too. I want to say it's probably 70% completed. And the cleaning has to be done because the alternative that we chose is to slip line the 30-inch pipe. That is pushing a smaller diameter pipe through the 30-inch, sort of like a conduit, sort of like using it as a conduit.
To make it smaller?
Yep, you're going to make it smaller. You're going to push a line through.
Okay.
That will get rid of all the bypass pipes. And you can do it fairly quickly. 16, 17 weeks, you're going to have the pipe slip lined. It'll be back online. The bypass pipes can leave. And then next fall, we want to put another 24-inch side of the 30-inch. We have to have some redundancy. It is, well, as you can well see, it's critical that you have something for a backup, and we didn't.
Yeah. Well, at the time, it wasn't even suggested.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was?
Yeah, it was brought up, and it was at the period of time when I was off the board, because don't forget, I was on from 81 to 90. Yeah. Then I left and came back in 98.
I'm glad you said that, because people ask who was on the board. Not that but I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, then I came back in 98 and served till 2010. Then I left, and then I came back last year. But where was I going with this?
I'm not sure, but you were saying it was going to be cleaned, and it's 70%.
Yeah.
And
okay, I know where we were. We were talking about the original pipe, the redundancy. I was watching a Board of Selectmen meeting back, oh God, I don't know, probably 96 or 97, maybe 98. But somebody got up at the podium and said, why are we putting one 30-inch pipe? Why do we not put two pipes? And the engineer said, because it's not necessary. This pipe will last forever, But somebody did question that, and I don't remember who it was. I remember somebody standing there.
They should have given him a cookie, I'm telling you.
So it was brought up, and at the time, it doesn't matter who was on the board. Let me expound on that a little bit. I'm good at digressing.
Good, because people have to.
Yeah, and I think it's so easy to point a finger.
Right.
They should have done this. They should have done that. But you know what? I've served with 20 odd selectmen, 20 different selectmen.
That's a lot.
Maybe it's more. Maybe it's 21, whatever. In that ballpark, and nobody ever makes a decision
in a vacuum.
No, you make your decisions with the best information that you get from the consultants that you have at that time. I mean, nobody would have wished this problem on anybody.
No.
And one of the reasons I'm pushing hard for the second pipe, the redundant pipe, is because if this ever happens again, you have a means to divert the flow. You can put one pipe online, fix the other one, or vice versa. There has to be some redundancy. It's a horrible design.
I agree.
Horrible design.
Well, I understand, too, that the town is suing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a healthy lawsuit. I can't expound, but trust me, we're pursuing all options.
I know you are. Yeah. That'll take about 30 years. But,
it probably will.
Yeah, but at least you're doing that.
Yeah.
And we got to get through it. We just have to. I mean,
absolutely.
There are old pipes all over this town, but, I don't see that happening.
Well, this is really unique. Something happened in Newport, and the contractor, Joe Bretto, was very aware of it. I don't know if it's a similar situation, but there are not that many failures. The pipe should last a long time. It didn't. And we've got to fix it in a way that it will last a long time.
Yeah, and it has to be fixed. There's no question.
Right.
No question. On another subject, Kenny and I took a ride out to Long Beach the other day, one of our favorite spots. And we have a four-wheel drive and happily pay the sticker fee. Happily do it because our family loves it too. And I have to compliment was it David Gould?
David Gould.
For the work they did out there. They defined the road beautifully. They did the sides with small rock, and then they put the large rocks to define it.
Yep.
And we finally went to the crossover, and the beach is pristine. We were lucky this year. Pristine. There isn't a twig on it. But the ride out was wonderful.
Well, this is the, I don't know, third or fourth time that a major beach nourishment plan went into effect. I remember back in the, I want to say like 1979 perhaps, we had the blizzard of 78.
Yes.
And that did an immense amount of damage.
Yeah.
And when I worked for my former employer, I pushed a lot of the dirt around to reconstruct the dunes at that time. And then in the 90s, we had the no-name storm.
I remember.
So it was a pretty substantial
Yeah.
beach nourishment operation back then. And of course, now we're doing it again.
What a difference.
Yeah, and really what would help is if the Corps of Engineers could rebuild that seawall.
Yes, I know.
And that
Do you
was a
think
plan.
they will?
Well, that was a plan that was talked about when Gene Lane was on the board.
Yeah.
So that's a while back, and nothing ever came to fruition. I don't know if there's not enough funding on the federal level, but it's very important that that seawall be put back to the shape that it was in.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's old, and
Yeah.
of course it's going to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Mother
expected.
Nature is pretty strong.
Oh, I had a flood in my house once, and it's like, God forbid, a fire.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. I went to work, came back. Oh, my God, the dog's bed was floating into the living room.
Oh, jeez.
Never forget it. Now, what's going on with Entergy? I know that they're having a little meeting tonight about it somewhere, the library or somewhere, but where is the town in regards to
Well, we're
negotiations?
pursuing a lot of different options. Ken Tavares has really taken the bull by the horns on this one. He met with people in Vermont. He's
Good.
met with the delegation down in Washington.
Oh, good.
He's really put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this. The economic development director has done the same. It's Jessica Casey.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of effort put in. This is not a surprise. We knew this was coming. It probably happened a little faster than what we thought.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be realistic because the nuclear power industry is not what it was back in the 70s when
No.
it went online. Quite frankly, they cost a lot of money to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
Coal and natural gas, well, maybe not coal, but natural gas is cheaper. Other alternative energy forms are coming in. So this is not a surprise. We will be doing negotiations. We will be working towards closure. Decommissioning is a major problem. We hope to have help at the federal level as well as at the state level. So there's a lot of work being done that people don't realize. There's a lot of time being put in.
I understand that, and it's troublesome, but we did know it was coming, and you're working as fast as you can to make it a softer blow.
And as thorough as we can.
Yeah. I think the state, too, is got their hackles up a little bit, and so more help will be coming on that end. But I commend Ken Tavares for staying on board with this.
Well, he's put in an inordinate amount of time.
Yeah.
He really has. He's put in a lot of effort, and we should be thankful that he's able to put that amount of effort into it.
Right. That's why you need a good, solid select board. That's the type of government we have, and the people on it have to be knowledgeable, ready to move quickly, and have the best interest of the town at heart, and I see that. Now, if I'm correct, John Mahoney will be running for state rep,
Yes.
I believe. And Rob Beelen, who is the alternate now on the planning board, will be running for the seat of Mark Garrett. Mark is not running. He chose not to seek another term. I believe he served 15 years
I think so,
12 or 15 years. Enough's enough, he said. So he'll be missed. And Russ Shirley is running for the Housing Authority. And all good people, and I hope you give him a vote. And this guy here, too. Yeah, so we have a lot on the plate of the selectmen, and I have faith. And how are the contracts coming along with all the unions? Any outstanding?
One was settled, and we signed it last night.
Good.
There were negotiations today. I'm actually participating in some negotiations tomorrow.
Good.
So we're moving forward.
Good. I'm happy that the police department got their patrolmen. They got 7 out of the 8, and I'm very happy about that because the town is so big. You know, and between the fire and the police, they're our first line of defense. They need their tools. You know, Mike Bateri will get very mad at me for using that word, but that's okay. So I'm happy about that, and at least it's 7. The Finance Committee found the money for it, and that's a good thing. So all-day kindergarten.
Yeah, that's a subject that a lot of people are passionate about.
Yeah.
And it's a proven thing that it's a benefit to the child. The only thing this year, boy, it couldn't be implemented at a worse time financially, but it's reimbursable. The first year, after the first year, it's reimbursable. And it's a program that my neighbor is a school principal in another town, and he's passionately in favor of this. You know, he sees the benefits. He's a principal of an elementary school, so he's pretty passionate on this.
There are only 12 towns in Massachusetts that don't have it, and we're one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's time.
Yeah, like I say, it's just unfortunate that everything has to fall all at the same time.
There's never a good time.
There isn't, really.
You know, dear, I'm pregnant. What? There's never a good time. But, I joke. But now we have 4 CPC articles coming up. It's sponsored by a citizen. One has to do with the ZBA, elected or appointed, and I'm going to vote to keep it the same as it is now, even though I voted the first time around the other way. But
did you?
Yeah. But, upon more reflection, they were right. So, but what do you think of the articles that are coming forward?
Well, I'm going to preface my statements by saying I'm a firm believer in the Community Preservation Act. It's a great deal. They've done wonderful things, and we have acquired land, and we have preserved some buildings, and we've done some affordable housing, which we wouldn't have done without that funding source. It was a much better deal in the beginning because it was a 1-for-1 match for the state, and now it's like 20% or something. So I am a firm believer in the Community Preservation Act, and I would lobby in favor of it.
Right.
But one of the articles is, should it be put before the voters of the town? And I support that. And I will continue to support that, even though I was the one vote on the board, I think, that went along with that, solely because we're a democracy. We're a government of the people. And when the act was adopted back in 2001, I was a selectman, I was at town meeting, and I remember them saying, this can be reviewed and it can be repealed. It's not something that's cast in concrete forever. And I think it should go back before the voters. Now, they may wholeheartedly support it, and they may reject it. That's a chance we have to take. But you shouldn't deny the people the right to vote on it just because you don't think you're going to like what the outcome is. That's not democracy. This is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And a famous Republican said that years ago, and I don't think it was Donald Trump. I think it was somebody with a big hat, you know. But,
Yeah.
you know, I just think the people should have the right to weigh in on this.
Yeah.
And that's my reason for supporting it.
Well, that's very democratic, David. I had said that to one person, and they weren't too happy about it. But, you know, you can lobby
Yeah.
to keep it, which I think it's the best bang for our buck.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good thing. What do you think of the ZBA article? I was surprised that it came back so fast.
Well, you know, if I gave up the appointing authority, then I would be shooting myself in the foot.
Aside from that, though, what do you think? Comparison, elected judge. A lot of people said it's the same thing. They don't want that type of thing coming into the town because they see it as hurtful. They would rather have it appointed. It's like this. Somebody said to me, well, the 4 selectmen are like 4 mayors of the town, and I am completely against a mayor for a town.
As am I.
I came a long way on that.
Yeah.
Someday it might be town council and that, but the selectmen of mayors and 5 mayors, and they have that right to do it. If there was 1 or 5, that's who should do it. An elected judge, they see graft there. And so, you know, I had to think about it a long time, but I came around to leaving the ZBA alone.
Well, you could strike a little bit of a parallel, because when I was on the board back in the 80s, before the first of the, well, some of the major changes, the tax collector used to be elected.
Really?
And the town clerk was elected.
That I knew, but not the tax collector.
Yeah. Eddie Bugatti was the tax collector back then, and he ran successfully many years, and he did a fine job. But then when the charter changed, they became appointed positions. You know, again, you always, when you sit up at the board, you try to make the best appointments. You don't always do that, no matter how hard you try.
Sometimes there's nobody to come up except the person that was sitting there originally. Yeah. So what are you going to do?
Well, again, you use your best judgment at the time and hope you make the best decision. Now, I've made a lot of appointments in 22 years, you can imagine. Most of them I am proud of.
Right.
There are a few that when I look back, I think, it might not have been the best choice.
But you didn't know.
At the time, you know, it was with the best of intentions.
Yeah.
We're all human.
Yeah, we're all human, thank God. Yeah, you know, but you do the best you can, and that's all you can do. Now, will the sewer pipe be done for the 400th?
Oh, I sincerely hope so.
Yeah.
Good heavens. We're looking at 16 to 18 weeks for the slip line.
Okay.
That's quick because you're using the existing 30 inches of conduit.
Right.
So you expose areas and then push a pipe through, and then maybe 300 or 400 feet, 500 feet down the road, you expose another area and you push the pipe through. So you don't have to open cut, you have a conduit to push through.
But then it's cleanup afterwards.
Yep.
And reseeding or whatever you have to do.
Everything has to be restored.
Yeah.
Driveways, lawns.
Oy.
Yeah. And then probably next fall, if town meeting is willing, then we open cut. We open cut and put a new pipe alongside of the 30-inch.
Okay.
So you'll have the redundancy. And I'm pushing, which there isn't a huge push against it, but I'm pushing that every 1,000 to 2,000 feet, whatever the number may be, we make an H connection. We tie the pipes together.
Sure.
So now you can close off one pipe, divert the pipe, divert the flow.
Oh my goodness, of course.
Yeah, and that's just good engineering practice, and it may cost a few $1,000s more, but you need to be able to divert the flow and direct it so that you have some alternatives, shall we say.
Well, you brought up another thing. We can't continue, and this I think stopped a while ago, but for lack of a better term, we can't go on the cheap, because when you go on the cheap, it bites you later. You're kicking the can, as like John says.
Afraid so.
And so you got to bite that bullet, and you got to do it right.
Yeah.
Would you do it wrong at home? If
You
it
would
was your
certainly
house?
try not to.
No. So I mean, you've got to put your all into it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think I said earlier, I don't want any Board of Selectmen, and I don't want any future town residents to have to go through what we've just gone through.
It must have been a shock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When the first break occurred, I think JB called me about 10 o'clock at night, and he said, we just had a sewer break. And I said, really?
Where?
Yeah, and he told me, and I took a little ride, and it was pretty obvious where it was.
Yeah, we were smelling that.
Oh, yeah. But then when you saw that it was a problem at the high points in the pipe, one of the things he gave me the next day was a profile, and it shows the run of the pipe and the ups and downs. And we all came
Who did that?
the engineers. We all came to the agreement that there were going to be two other spots that were definitely going to be a problem. And sure enough, they were.
Yeah.
They were.
Why didn't they, you don't know, you can't answer this, but I mean to level the land.
Well, they could have taken a different route. They could have taken a different route, and I don't want to second guess them back then. I would have preferred, but see, then you get into the same situation. Everybody thinks the waterfront is so valuable, you shouldn't be disturbing it, but they could have taken a route along Water Street and then go up perhaps Oberry Street or South Street, and now you've got a consistent upward grade all the time. You don't have these radical ups and downs.
Right.
Because everywhere there's an up, there's an air pocket.
Down.
There's
yeah,
a possible air pocket.
Did they flush it periodically? Did they?
We don't think so, but we don't know.
Chemicals go into it to...
Yeah, we don't think that's been done properly either.
Holy mackerel, David.
Yeah.
Yeah,
tell me about it.
But nobody looked, we held on and we held our breath, so to speak, and knew it was going to be bad, but what the heck are you going to do? Oh my goodness, we have a phone call. Hello?
Hello, Karen. Glad to have you back.
Oh, thank you.
And Mr. Malagudi, I want to thank you for everything that you've done.
Who am I talking to?
Great job as a selectman. And I'm gonna make a statement, and then if you can reply, that's fine. If you can't, I understand. I don't know if it's something you can talk about, but as far as the funding for the $55 million for the sewer plant, one selectman, Tony Parmesan, got up in at one of the meetings and stated that he would like to see the ratepayers foot the bill for this, if not all of it, then most of it. But the way I look at it is that sewer plant, when it was built, a lot of those people were forced to get on it. They were promised expansions that would help to make their rates lower, which never happened. And also, they are paying for the funding of building of the plant and also the operation. And I feel that the infrastructure belongs to the town. And I don't think it would be fair for them to foot the bill for this. I think it should be. To be honest with you, I'm on a septic and I'm on a well, and I know this is going to affect my taxes more. But I think it's a community project. It was done as a community project, and it should be a community project that pays for it. So I'm going to hang up and listen to see what you have to say. And thank you very much for everything you do. Bye now.
You're welcome. Well, let me say this, Karen.
Yeah.
And to whoever we were talking to. There is no way 3,300 users can foot $48 million.
I'm glad you gave the number.
Yeah, the latest number that I heard was 48.3 million.
Yes, but no, 3,300 users
Yes,
cannot foot 48 million.
that's right. There's 3,300 users on the the sewage system. Now, some are houses, some are businesses, but the number is 3,300. You can't make them pay the whole bill. There needs to be some sort of a formula.
Balance.
I don't know what that is. That's to be discussed at a later date. But you can't put all the burden on the 3,300 users because, number one, you'll be driving people right out of the places that have sewerage, and you certainly would stifle any growth for somebody who wants to come into the town. So I would have to say that needs to be discussed. There's a whole lot more that needs to go into that. We have to come up with some sort of a balance, using your word.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to hear that because a lot of people think that it's just going to be thrown out willy-nilly and you're going to have to cough up the money. I'm sure you'll be fair.
We're going to make that attempt.
Yeah, you're going to make that attempt. It's a lousy situation.
It is. It is. I mean, we were sold a bill of goods. The pipe was supposed to last a good long time. It didn't. We were supposed to have expansion. We didn't. There is presently some expansion going on right now in the West Plymouth area. You've seen the pumping station by CBS.
Yes.
So, hopefully we'll pick up some customers there. We need to go further up Warren Avenue. We need to expand the system, but unfortunately, whatever money we had put aside for expansion right now is going to go towards repair.
I know.
Yeah.
I've always said it for years, I wish I was on sewerage. You get tired of the septic. And we pump it out every year. We're 42 years. And it's pristine. The guy keeps coming, goes, this is great.
Yeah.
We take care of it and cross fingers. I mean, but every year it goes up and it's, and we do both every year. We do the holding and the septic.
Yeah.
So just to keep, and that's why it is the way it is. But hey, you got to go somewhere.
Yes, you do. And for 32 years, when I lived off of Gunner's Exchange, we had a well and we had a septic system. And I did the same thing. I installed it myself because I had access to the equipment. And I did it, obviously.
Do you still do that?
I'm trying desperately to phase down and retire.
No, you're never going to do it.
Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be 68. It's time to let somebody else do it,
Yeah.
And I keep telling my partner, do not take any more work. When we get done what we need to do, please, I want to get out, But
would it be dissolved or are you going to give it over to somebody?
we haven't determined that yet.
Yeah. I'd hate to see it go.
Well, but all things shall pass,
Yeah, you want to enjoy. You want to go on vacation. When was the last time you went on vacation?
Last October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is we maintained our system, and it took effort. It took bacteria that we used to add to help the process. We pumped periodically, like we were supposed to. And then when I moved back to the house that my mother and father, the men built for them,
Right on the corner.
I'm on the sewer.
Yeah.
So I've seen both sides, you know. But, there are a lot of important things on the sewer. If you go down to BJ's,
All that.
that's in Seward.
Yeah.
If you go to Colony Place, if you eat at one of the restaurants up there, or if you go to Walmart, they're Seward. The hospital is on the sewer.
Yeah.
So it really
The
is.
jail.
The jail. It really is a community problem.
Okay. So is the county? No. The answer is no. Going to step up and pay anything?
Probably not.
And I know you have friends. They're laughing. They're laughing.
Yeah, I can hear him in the background.
I know.
No, I used to advocate for county government.
Yeah.
Because county government is governed by the laws of Prop 2.5 like the towns are. But from what I've seen with the last dealings with the county, I'm not an advocate anymore.
Thank you, Lord.
Well, I'm only one,
No, but I just think it's time. I had Dan Pilata on here.
Yeah.
And I'm a pretty good interviewer, okay? I make people relax, whatever. He had me a nervous wreck.
Really?
I could not interview that guy. You know why? Because he was a tornado. He wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. He just was uncontrollable. So I just let him go and go. And I said to Melissa later, I know what you go through.
Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah. And I am very disappointed, don't say a word, in Tom O'Brien. Don't say a word. I personally am very disappointed in that man, but that's for another day. So, get my tirade over. Got to get it out somehow, David. You know what I'm saying? You know, we joined the Y.
You did.
Here in Plymouth. And then, you know, Kenny got sick. And I miss it terribly. I want to go back. It's wonderful, David. $28 a month. And you have all that facility. You have everything. And you know they're going to be building a pool. I know it's far away from you.
Do you think I should sign up? Or you're trying to tell me something?
No, do you know what's terrible is hospital food, only because that it has a lot of calories. Well, I had lost 10 pounds, gained it right back.
Really?
Oh, you had to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner there.
Yeah.
And it was just unbelievable, the way it came back. I just look at food and it comes back. I heard the phone ring. I think we have another caller.
That's what they're telling us.
They are. Is he off the phone yet? But no. So the why? I'm telling you, it's wonderful. Telephone. Hello. You're on Talk of the Town. Hello.
And the sewage system issue that's going on.
Yes.
And my question is, I know that we're paying right now, I think they're talking $48 million for the sewer system, and I think we've got about $48 million set for Plymouth Town Hall. And why wouldn't we just stop development on the new town hall, seeing that we already have one, and use the money to give the town something it really needs, a new sewer system? And I know it's being paid for by the meals tax, and just a vote probably could change it at the end to get the additional funds to, pay it off and then go back and continue town hall. So I'm wondering if that's been considered and what your thoughts are on that.
Good question. I had asked David that question before we started, and he had the answer.
Well, I have an opinion. It's probably not what this man wants to hear, but you have an ongoing project. If you look at the project right now as you drive by it, you're going to see a huge part of the 1857 addition to the 1820 courthouse exposed and vulnerable. You'll notice that there's also a very large excavation to the rear. And when I asked, why is that so deep, which I referred to last night, I kind of knew the answer, but I wanted to get it public anyway. The answer is vaults, storage vaults, archives, utilities, boiler room, that type of thing. So that's not exactly what you want to leave. But more importantly than that, you have a project that was approved. All the contracts are in place. Work is progressing. I don't know what the legal ramifications would be to just stop it right now. I sense that they would be much more
Suing?
Expensive than you think.
That's what he said. So,
Well, maybe that's something we look into if we don't know what those costs are, that they can button it up and put it aside for a while. We already have a town hall. We don't have sewage, and you're asking the entire town to pay for this. And my first thought is I think the sewer trumps a new shiny town hall. That's just my opinion. Thanks.
Excuse me.
Thank you for calling. Thank you.
Well, that brings up a point because he's sort of a little bit preaching to the choir. When I voted back in 2007 and 2008, Enzo Monti and Peter Gomes came in before the board and really advocated for the purchase of the courthouse.
Yep.
And I was one of the ones that voted to support that. But there was supposed to be public-private partnership. There was supposed to be grants. There was talk about making condos in the back. All of that fell through.
Steve Lydon wanted a Ferris wheel on the top of the hill.
He did.
Yes. We had many an argument.
Okay.
Yes.
So really, that's one of the reasons I ran, because I really wasn't happy, but I knew I couldn't stop it because the process was already in motion. And at the same time that we were considering the new town hall, the little motel next to the present town hall, the little Blue Anchor Motel,
Oh, sure.
which was built by hand by Dean Eldridge, who was my shop teacher in the 7th grade. That came up for sale. I think it was $550,000 or $575,000.
Really?
So you buy the thing,
Yeah.
you demolish it, you fill the hole in with gravel, and you pave it. Now you get some parking.
Right.
And if you really want to get creative, see if there's something for sale on Fremont Street and buy it if it abuts the town hall, demolish that, and now you've got ways in and out, and you do away with the bus problem, because that's a problem. But
It
I
didn't
knew,
happen, didn't come
no,
up.
and I knew when I got on in last year, I knew that wasn't, I couldn't change that because the mechanism was already in place and it was rolling. But the man is a little bit preaching to the choir, but
Could you, just for the sake of constituents, because I get the same question, and it's valid, could you look into that about the suing part? Oh, okay.
I can
Could you
inquire.
and have something said by Melissa or the selectmen in regards to that? Because that is one of the questions that come up.
I can do that.
Okay, hello, you're on Talk of the Town.
Hi, I just want to congratulate Dave Malaguti for such a great job over the years. He's been terrific.
Aw.
We've been on different parties. I'm an active Republican. David has been on the other side, but he's just a terrific guy, and
Yeah.
he's had the people of Plymouth in his thoughts and minds and votes, and he's just been a terrific selectman and a great friend, and I just want to thank him for all the work that he's done for the town.
Oh, that was
Well,
wonderful.
Thank you very much. But for the record, I don't know what the other side is because
Yeah.
I'm unenrolled. And I
Yeah.
do that by choice because I voted
Me
for
too.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, so did I.
I think he made the Americans feel good about themselves. So I voted for Reagan. I did not vote for George Bush the first time.
Yeah.
I voted for Gore.
Yeah.
But I jump around because I don't want to lock myself into a party. I want to vote for who I think is the most qualified.
But listen to what this man is saying. I mean, thank you. Don't hang up. I just want to thank you for calling in and saying that, because it's true. And he doesn't take compliments
thank you,
very
too.
well. He doesn't. He doesn't. He's like me. We don't take compliments.
Well,
We've known each other for years, and David has just been terrific. He's a great selectman. He's a great person. He's just open to the people and the citizens of Plymouth, and he's always voted in the right way. And sorry if I thought we were on the other side. I didn't know you were an independent. I thought you were one of the guys on the other side.
no, and
The
I,
other side.
I wish I could figure out the voice, but I can't figure out the voice.
Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. The other side. I love it when people say the other side. I'm an independent, too. Remember the time you yelled at me?
I do.
I remember that. And see, people don't understand what a curmudgeon you are, but you're a teddy bear. You're a teddy bear, and they don't know that either. And that was really great, because right after that is when I started to close my mouth and open my ears. Yeah, and you know,
I've been called a lot of things, but I've never been called a curmudgeon.
curmudgeon. But it was funny. You look back on it. I mean, Rob Beelan and I laugh, but it was good, and it's an experience that was a good one. You know, afterwards you looked at it, and
Well, you know, I don't take compliments well because
Yeah.
people will say, "What do you consider your greatest accomplishment?" And I say,
my God,
I don't think I have any great accomplishments, you know? And they laugh, and I'll say, well, you know, when you drive down and you get to an intersection and you see the sign that says you can take a right on red. You can thank Roger Silver for that because he worked and he lobbied and he worked and he lobbied and he got that throughout the town.
No
and that
kidding.
takes going before the state.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just do it like that.
No.
You have to check it out with DOT and stuff like that.
That takes time, too.
So every time you see one, you know, you can go right on red and save a few
That's
minutes.
Roger Silver?
Thank Roger Silver.
Yeah.
And the same thing now with a very successful hotel motel tax. That brought us a lot of revenue through the years.
Absolutely.
And Billy Nolan spent a great amount of time back in the 80s getting that through. He went to Boston a whole bunch of times, spoke before the legislature.
I didn't know that either.
Well, just ask me because I got all these things
Yeah.
locked up in here in the memory, you know.
Yeah.
But that revenue that comes in, we can thank Bill Nolan for that because he worked hard on that.
Wow.
Those are accomplishments, you know.
you-
I kind of think, I don't know, if I have any strong points, I'm always open to calls. I'm always open to help people if I can.
And you are also open to changing your mind if given the facts and you think about it. I've seen you do that. I haven't always agreed with you.
Well, of course not.
And I wonder what the heck you're going at times, but I do that to all of them. Even John Mahoney.
But just think
You
of
know?
this now. If we agreed all the time, wouldn't
Yeah.
that be terribly boring?
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, honestly, like I said, in 22 years, I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a meeting with a preconceived opinion.
Yeah, me too.
Because, you know, they give you papers and you read them and stuff
Yeah.
like that, you know. But then you go to the meeting and you hear something and you think, wow, I better reassess this because this is a valid point, you know.
That's the beauty of town meeting. Because town meeting, you think you know everything. I mean, God, it's all year we get this stuff. We know it, we go in, we're all set, and then somebody stands up and makes you think.
Yep.
Says something and you go, okay,
Yep.
I didn't think of that. Let me think about this. And then you hear, you know, and then you come to your final conclusion.
Yeah.
You ask your questions. That's the beauty of town meeting.
Yep. Can't agree more.
I know. And a mayor ain't going to fix it.
Well, you know something? I like more than one person. Now, I could maybe lean towards a council. I could do that. But I don't believe in one mayor. Look at the controversy on the North Shore. The mayor of Everett.
Oh, yes.
Okay, the mayor of Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Okay.
He was the worst.
And Buddy Cianci, you know, I mean,
loved
indicted
him,
a couple
though.
of times.
But I loved him.
And I'm not saying he didn't do great things,
He
but
did great things.
the point is,
Yeah.
you get one person and you don't have any diversity there. Now we got a pretty diverse board.
Yeah, you do, and things are out in the open. And with the mayoral form of government, he does pretty much well, and they follow, his people follow what he, oh, you don't have a job.
No, you're,
Yeah, you're gone.
yeah.
You know, but with a lot of eyes looking at it, yeah, you know, very happy about that. You know, this hour flew by. We're not there yet, but
We're having fun.
we're having fun. You were a great guest.
Well,
Now, you're running for re-election. This is a 3-year term.
this is the 3-year term. Now you know why we went this route. Because
Yes.
I left in 2010 and Matt Muratori took my place.
Yes.
But when he moved on to state rep, that left the 1-year unexpired term. And I really wanted that because that's my old seat.
Right.
I held it for 12 years, so I
Yeah.
wanted it back. But now I have to go for the 3-year term.
Yeah.
This will be my 9th time running.
Yeah. Well, so what?
I'm getting old.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah, but you look good.
Oh, I don't. Oh, my Lord, no.
Kenny's laughing back
Do you
there.
know Dickie came to the house the other, I'm in my pajamas, no makeup. And I said to myself, I'm not running in the bathroom putting on makeup. I can sit here with Dickie and,
Yeah.
you know, be myself.
Yeah.
And he was great. He was there for a couple of hours. He was just wonderful. And I miss him.
Dickie's salt of the earth. Dickie's salt of
He
the earth.
really is.
Yeah.
And he's passionate. He was the most, and nothing against anybody else, but the most generous selectman on that board.
Exactly. That man opened up his wallet many times.
Many times. And
Yep.
you didn't even know about it.
Nope.
You heard about it.
Yep.
Maybe, and he was a great
Yep.
not a philanderer, a philanthropist.
Philanthropist.
Dickie, don't kill me.
But his heart, he is such a passionate person
Yeah.
for the town of Plymouth. He truly loves the community,
Absolutely.
And as do I, and
Yeah.
obviously as does Kenny Tavares.
Yep.
We love the community. We want to see it
John.
go in the right. Yeah.
I don't know Sean that well. I do, but I don't. He seems a little detached. But is he staying?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't answer that, but he will come up with some very good points sometime.
Yeah.
Because he looks at it from his point of view, and
Yeah.
that's the important thing. That's
Diversity.
what's good about the diversity.
So you're running, and when is election? I don't know. I
God.
haven't been keeping up with it. It's
You know,
May.
May something.
And it's a Tuesday now.
Yeah.
Because the charter changed that
Yeah.
to see, might go back to a Saturday if this doesn't work
That's
out.
why I'm not exactly sure. I forgot what day it is.
Yeah, I
That's really
forget.
good. That's really good, huh? But
Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but I don't know when it is this year, 11th, 12th, 13th, I don't
Right,
know.
right.
But I certainly will be voting for you.
why? Thank you.
Absolutely. Wayne will bring signs for me.
My campaign manager.
Wayne.
Oh, I love him.
Oh,
He's a
God,
riot.
isn't he wonderful?
He's a riot. He works so hard.
Now, there's a man who had cancer
Yep.
in 3 different places.
Yep.
We thought he was going to die.
Yep.
It was awful. And
Yeah.
Dickie took him to the hospital every day
For treatments, yeah.
for treatments.
Yeah. Yeah. I went down a couple of times, mowed his lawn.
Yeah.
He would stay in contact with me. There would be days I would call and he would say,
I can't talk.
I can't talk,
Yeah,
I'm just so
that's
tired,
Kenny
But
some
he's
days.
a good guy. He's a good person.
Yeah, really is, Wayne. I told him to come over for coffee. It's open to you, too.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, anytime, just drop in. No, call me. I want to get dressed. No, so just in a minute, talk to the people. You get it, you.
Well, I hear a lot of things about there should be a change. We need a change. Sometimes that's a little hurtful. There's no substitute for experience, and I'm not trying to even begin to say that I have all the answers because I don't. But locked up in this brain is a lot of history, a lot of memories, a lot of things. People can say, why did we do this? Why did the board do that? And believe it or not, Melissa picks my brain a lot.
I believe
She
that.
will say, why did this happen? Why did that happen? So, as long as I still have a little output.
Honey, the best of luck, and
Thank you.
I will vote for you.
Oh, bless you.
We'll be doing our shows, hopefully, if Kenny's feeling well, every 2 weeks. So, see you in 14.